Hello everybody, my name is Fiona Giudandrea, and today I'll be talking about still life painting during the Baroque period in Italy and Spain. Mainly, I'll focus on two artists, Francisco de Zurbarán and Juan van der Hamen, and specifically Zurbarán's still life with lemons, oranges, and a rose, and van der Hamen's still life with a vase of flowers and a dog. I will next talk about how their still life paintings reflect the larger religious and cultural ideas of their time, and next I'll talk about the background of still life painting in Italy and Spain. Still life painting became a major genre during the Baroque period. It wasn't just about showing pretty objects, it carried deeper meanings, especially in Catholic countries like Spain and Italy. Artists used still life paintings to reflect religious values, remind people about spiritual ideas, and sometimes explore themes like the passage of time or the fleeting nature of life. In Spain, still lifes tended to feel very calm, quiet, and meditative, while in Italy, they were often a little more lively and abundant. But both styles seek to grab the viewer's attention emotionally and spiritually, which was a huge part of the Baroque style. I also included three examples, not going to be studied here, but Juan Sanchez's still life with quince, cabbage, melon, and a cucumber. Melendez's still life with oranges, honey jar, boxes of sweetmeats, and watermelons, as well as Nuvoloni's still life of grapes and peaches. And the first two are Spanish artists, and the last one is an Italian artist. My first focused work is Still Lifes with Lemons, Orange, and a Rose by Francisco de Zurbarán, painted in 1633. It is a very simple composition, but first full of meaning. So the first expanded box is a plate with 4 lemons, and then this expanded box, which would be in the center, is a basket of oranges, and then on the right would be a silver plate with a cup of water and a single white rose. And the setup might seem ordinary, but it's packed with symbolism connected to Catholic ideas, such as purity, the Holy Trinity, and devotion to the Virgin Mary, which that would be symbolized through the rose and the water. Instead of focusing on luxury like some still lifes did, this painting feels very humble and contemplative, something like you might find in a monastery. Francisco de Zurbarán was one of the leading painters of Spain's Golden Age, and he was especially known for his religious paintings of saints and monks. Even in his still lifes, you can feel the same religious atmosphere. He liked using very simple, isolated compositions, usually using one figure or a few objects placed against a dark background to create a feeling of deep meditation and inward reflection. Zurbarán's paintings have a sense of peace and stillness, but he can also create paintings such as Hercules and Cerberus, which is a mythological piece. But also, his work, San Francisco, is another example of a contemplative or peaceful piece. My second work is Still Life with Vase of Flowers and a Dog by Juan van der Hamen, painted around 1625. This still life is much more elaborate than the previous one, including a bunch of luxury items like a large vase overflowing with different varieties and colors of flowers, a gold clock, and stacked boxes with a jar of fruit. And on the lower piece of the painting, there is a silver goblet and a hound dog sitting towards the right bottom. The inclusion of luxury items like the gold clock and silver objects hints at themes of wealth or luxury, but this piece isn't really just about showing off. The clock reminds viewers about the passage of time and the idea that material things are temporary, which was a very common message in Baroque art called vanitas. Even though the paintings look rich and vibrant, it still invites the viewer to think about the deeper and spiritual truths. Juan van der Hamen was one of the most important still life painters in Spain during the early 1600s. Even though his family had Flemish roots, he developed a style that fit perfectly with Spanish Baroque tastes. His still lifes are all about balance and order, luxurious objects carefully arranged to show both beauty and control. At the same time, there's always an underlying reminder that earthly pleasures don't last forever. Van der Hamen was really skilled at blending rich textures, soft lighting, and elegant compositions to create paintings that feel both grand and thoughtful. He helped turn still life painting into a highly respected art form starting in Madrid. And I included two more of his still life paintings, one just titled Still Life, and one titled Plate with Plums and Morello Cherries. To conclude, still life painting during the Baroque period was much more than capturing reality. It was also about reflecting religious beliefs, social values, and emotional experiences. Zurbarán and van der Hamen show two different sides of Spanish Baroque still life. Zurbarán's focus on simplicity, purity, and devotion, and van der Hamen's blending of luxury with quiet spiritual reflection. Through careful choices of objects, lighting, and arrangement, these artists transformed ordinary things into powerful reflections of faith, life, and time. Thank you.